One of the things we talked about earlier in terms of considerations is, should you have a channel strategy and plan? We as a panel certainly believe you do, but let's find out what's happening on the ground. Justine, what have you seen? Are companies proactively thinking about a channel strategy and a plan for execution before they embark on this journey, or what's really happening on the ground in your experience?
A bit of both, really. So some go head first without a plan and expect it to be hugely successful, and some go with a good plan. And then you have the other category where they over plan and they spend all their time planning and they don't execute on any of it because the plan is so complex that it becomes too difficult to deliver. So I think for me, when we work with organizations and they're doing their first steps to international work, we try and keep everything as basic and as simple and as executable as possible. Don't go in with we try and say, don't have 100 things to do. Try and get the first 5 right, and then you build on top of that. And there are companies that do that, but for me, the majority over plan or do it speculatively, thinking, hey, we don't need to plan, we're going to be successful, our product is super, and then it comes with all sorts of complexities that drown them and make them back away from a channel. So yeah, I think for me, a plan is critical. A plan should not be complex, a plan should be executable, and everybody in your business should be, working towards delivering that international plan together.
Great. And Nehul, given that you also have a tremendous network of people that have come into your region, what's your experience, Nehul, of people's balance between strategizing and planning and execution success?
Well, there's this quote by Sun Tzu, right, that I really like, and it's there in almost all our decks, so I really like talking about it, right, which is strategy without tactics is the slowest route to victory, and tactics without strategy is the noise before defeat, right? And it's actually very critical to understand that from that perspective. One of the key things that I always tell people who are embarking on a channel journey, right, is to kind of adhere to what we call it as the 3 Ps of channel, right, which is planning, perseverance, and patience, right? So you got to have a good plan. It needs to be agile. It needs to be adaptable to the different region, to the different product portfolio, to the different type of partner that you want to work with, right? And then it needs to be adaptable. You need to constantly review if that plan is functioning or not, right? Either through MBRs, QBRs, quarterly business reviews or monthly business reviews, and with your partners or with your internal organization. But you need to constantly keep that plan needs to be a live document, right? Attached to a broader strategy scenario. Second is perseverance, right? And I'd like to make a very clear point here. Partners are not your employees, right? They are in business for themselves. They're doing business to earn profit and revenue for their own organization, and the vendors and the products are just a medium for them to earn that, right? Which means that if they're not highly focused on you today, that's because you do not have a wallet share with them, which allows them to focus on you, right? The good strategy would be to continue to persevere with them. If they're a good partner, you know they're the right partner, you need to persevere with them and ensure that they are successful with you before you look at whether you're successful with them or not, right? And that's going to turn the cycle around for them to continue to work with you. Last is patience. It takes time to forge a new path, right? Rome wasn't built in a day. You cannot expect that what takes your own team weeks or days to achieve, your channel will have the same journey. In fact, it takes longer, but it's the upfront investment of that time, effort, and energy that you're doing with your channel that pays over a longer period, right? Because you've trained them, you've skilled them, but they still need time. They need hand holding, right? At least 3 to 6 months. They need to know how to position your solution, how to handle objections, right? And that cannot happen overnight. Even if you've trained them, even if they're certified, they still need that time, right? Because that training is in a classroom environment. It could be like a session like this, right? It's not on the job, it's not live. They don't know what kind of a question the customer is going to come up with. So that's, so you need to have patience and ensure that you're working around with that. And lastly, I would say the core ethos of strategy is choosing what not to do, right? You need to look at what you shouldn't be doing when you build your channel strategy and your channel plans, rather than only discussing what I should be doing. And, because that's where the gaps really come in. And if you're able to identify what your weaknesses are, you'll have a better strategy and a better plan and a better execution perspective than ever before. Yeah, that's my point.
Super. I love that quote, Nehul, that partners are not your employees. Very, very good point. And it's the whole concept. It has to be a two-way relationship. Great point.